Real quick, informal poll to lead off today's video. How many of you, if faced with an unpleasant threat, would adopt the strategy of an ostrich? Meaning freeze in place, shove your head in the sand, and pretend that it's not there. Hopefully it'll go away all on its own. I'm sure not very many of you would. I'm sure not very many of you would want people in your survival group that had that attitude. Because make no mistake, unpleasant threats are coming. And when your head is in the sand, another part of your anatomy is exposed. Truth. Now lately some have said, Florida Maquis, you have been talking about things we don't need to talk about. We've got them all figured out. No, we don't. Clearly we don't. If you read history, or even the Bible, during times of upheaval, and stress, and collapse, and anarchy, the relationships between men and women fundamentally change. And if you're not prepared for it, or if you're living in some kind of past dream world, you'll become a victim very, very quickly. Some have said, Florida Maquis, I have a group of survival dudes. We're just going to not be around women at all. We're going to avoid the problem completely. Well, that would be a mistake. In fact, groups like that are going to be the ones that fall first, in my opinion. In today's video, I'm going to make the case that if you have a survival group that includes women, men and women, you should find the most seasoned, the most experienced woman in that group and give her veto power over decision-making and direct control over weapons, ammunition, and armaments. I'm sure I got guys typing already. No way. No way. I have way more experience. I know who that... Listen to me on this one. Women can see things and can identify threats that men cannot. The military has known this for a long time. I'm sure with the recent wave of gender confusion, they've inside, especially in intelligence circles, kind of laughed a little bit because they know the realities of the differences between women and men. Now, like I said, before you type me 3 paragraphs about why I'm wrong, let me make my case. Let's call it what it is, a state of survival, where the whole idea is wake up tomorrow morning. Ideally, wake up tomorrow morning fed, with clean water and clothes, someplace safe and warm. But the idea is to wake up tomorrow morning. That's the idea. Survive. Now, how many of you would agree with this statement? Ammunition will become currency in a situation like that. Of course, people have been talking about this for a long time. I'm stockpiling ammo. I'm stockpiling ammo. It's going to be currency. It's going to be worth more than just about anything. And you would be right. But war game this idea for a minute. Ammunition can now be used as if it were currency. Let me ask you a question. If I were to go over to this supply of ammunition sitting here on the floor and grab a handful of 100 randomly out of these 8 boxes, do you think visually you could tell? No. Not ammunition arranged like this. I could pull 10 out of here, 15 out of here, 20 out of here, 20 out of here. Unless you had very strict controls where somebody was going down here and counting rounds or weighing these boxes down to the gram every single day, you could easily be getting ripped off. Now, who might do that within your group, and what would be the point? Well, you see, there might be something out there they want, and you might not know about it until it's too late. See, if you have a survival group that uses ballistic weapons, you're going to have to make some type of an allocation for training. I mean, I hope survival groups out there aren't planning on stopping training as soon as ammo becomes scarce. You're going to have a plan to replace the ammo that you use training at the range. At a minimum, you should be going to, even if ammo was scarce, once a month. But wait a minute. Ammo is now currency, and it can be used to buy things. Now, this is an article I'll give you guys. It's how to have the best ammo stash. It talks about how much to plan to use and how to keep it. But that's not the point we're going for. At some point, your survival group is going to have to go out and trade for things. You're no man, no group, I don't care how big they are, they will not be an island unto themselves. You might have a lot of things, but they will run out. Fresh water tablets, fuel. Who knows, a big enough group. You might have kids, and maybe the kids are growing up and they need larger clothes. There could be all sorts of things you need to go trade for. And so you have groups that go out and find other groups and trade with. Should everybody be armed in the group? Maybe, maybe not. You make a decision. In this particular case, they've got 3 of 7. And that should be plenty for security. But there are going to be those who have laid traps because they understand something, a rule about anarchy, about collapse, that is thousands of years old. And it's business 101. And unless you understand it and understand how it works, your group will be a victim of it. And the story of this is told perfectly in the series. It's an old series from the mid-2010s. I think it's like 2013. It was a series called Defiance. You can get it on DVD. I would recommend it. It's only 3 seasons. But it's the only series that I've ever seen that addresses this specific issue. Now, it's an outpost. It's a trading outpost, this place called Defiance. And as you can see, let's see here, hold on. Yep, it's in the outskirts of St. Louis in Missouri. And the entire series centers around this place called the Need Want. It's a bar. It's a meeting place. It is a great many different things. A restaurant, you can get food here. You can trade for things. Around back, there's a pawn shop. It's kind of a catch-all. But it's also a brothel. And that's how they truly pay the bills. Now, most people wouldn't realize this. You see, they sell bikes and, they don't have a complete supply of everything. But they have enough to keep people coming in the door. Now, they make money and they stay in business the same way the pirates did. Because there's one rule. There's one rule. More value stays here than leaves. Let me say this again. More value stays here than leaves. That's the goal. And like I said, anything in a grid down, power down, collapse, anarchy situation, anything and everything goes, and anything and everything is for sale. It's how capitalism thrives. Here's an example. Anybody out there who's been a bartender, ladies especially, knows this. You're not selling liquor. You're selling an experience. You're selling a feeling. Now, imagine your group stumbles on a place like this, and there's all sorts of stuff for sale. Things you might need, things you might not. But there's also this. You see, they have a source for liquor somehow. Maybe they've had a huge storehouse of it. Maybe they make bathtub gin. Who knows? But the idea of bathtub gin plus a pretty girl plus atmosphere equals more money. Because what's going on here is an experience. It's not him buying a shot of liquor. If he just wanted the liquor, he'd buy it by the bottle and take it back with. But buying the single shot, having the conversation with the pretty girl that smells nice, You see, that's where the problem's going to come in. Because remember, ammunition is a currency. And it also transmits the idea of where a source of ammunition is. Guys, tell me I'm wrong. Go to a bar, and this is who brings your food. How was your food? Oh my God, it was delicious. It was the best food I have ever had. It was so good. What'd you guys have? I don't remember. Wait, what? You had food, it was the best ever, but you don't remember what it... See, guys will get that. And as will a lot of women. It's an experience being sold. And look, if a young soldier right now from the Army, the Air Force, Marines wants to go blow all of his money at bars on booze and women, that's his problem. But remember, we're not talking about that. We're talking about your survival militia and people walking around with ammunition that is currency. Are you starting to see the problem? You see, once they know you have the ammunition, it's only a matter of time before they pick out the weakest among you. It'll be a young male, I guarantee it. Who knows? Maybe it's an older one. And they'll know how to say the exact right thing. It doesn't take much to stand up a bar. Some are out there like, Florida Monkey, you're talking about power down, grid down. How could they have this bar with ammunition? It's called a generator. It's a generator. And when they see groups coming, large groups coming in, regularly out scouting for goods, it behooves them to use the fuel to bring the atmosphere up so that the money and the liquor start to flow. And when the money and the liquor starts to flow, that's where things get out of hand. Because something else out there has been a source of currency for a long time. You see, they have to replace the booze. They can charge whatever they want. They can charge an astronomical amount for the booze. Who knows, maybe 8 rounds, 9 rounds, maybe 10 rounds. I don't mean rounds of liquor, I mean actual military weapon rounds. Because remember, ammunition is currency. But they still have to replace the booze. So they have a cost involved. Well, there are other things where no cost is involved. Where you can get all sorts of information just by the right perfume, the pretty smile, say the right words at the right time to the right guy, and all of a sudden, you know where all the ammo is. You know that 8 to 10 miles down the road, east of you, there's a huge horde of ammunition, because that's where they came from. It doesn't matter who the guy is. They'll do it to anybody. Power down, grid down, high stress situation. Guys out scouting around with their weapons. And they've got a crap ton of extra ammunition. Somebody smiles at them the right way. Says, hey, let's take a walk. That's all it's going to take. And all of a sudden, your ammunition is going to start to disappear. You see, because they might have their own personal motivations. They might have a use for that ammunition. There's something else they could trade it for that they need. And they'll say anything. And before you know it, all of your ammunition will be gone. And guys won't pay attention to this. Women will. Women will notice. Women will see it coming a mile away. Women will be able to say, it's that guy. You see, this is a random picture of a militia that I pulled up off the internet. Just a random one. Do these guys look like the pictures of discipline to you? Do these guys look like the types that wouldn't, if given the opportunity, do something stupid like that? Trade 8 or 9 or 10 or 20 rounds for one pleasant evening? These guys can't even say no to a second helping of chicken wings or a third helping of potato cakes. You think they're going to say no here? You're out of your mind. That's why you need women in charge, especially of the ammunition, so that they can say, wait a minute, hold on, where's all this going? And if some guy lies to them, right to their face, they'll know. Because women know these things. All it's going to take is some cutie sitting around listening, who's a good listener, to find out exactly where your survival compound is, exactly how many rounds you have, where they're stored, how many people you have on guard duty, because this kid's going to want to brag. Guys do it in the military all the time, and these are the disciplined ones, not the undisciplined militia types. And there will be those out there, even worse, looking for the information. And they'll come gunning for you. Ammo, the currency for the next millennium. Men are men. Period. And they always have been, and they won't change. You need somebody in your survival group with veto power who is directly in charge of the one thing that keeps your compound secure. Places like this have operated as traps like that for thousands and thousands of years. And they will crop up. Grid down, power down, anarchy, no government, no police, no 911. They are predators, and they will just wait. They will wait for someone to come want an experience. And if you're smart and you have a female in charge, she might be able to go pull some reverse Uno and maybe get some of your shit back. Maybe. Do you know how many thousands of dead Germans there are because of French women during World War II? How many German soldiers put their own buddies in the grave because they couldn't shut up because of this? This is history. And look, if you want the real deal of this, attitudes and values encouraged by capitalism, me first. Look out for number 1. Materialism, my group first, family, race, nation. All you would need is a hyper-capitalist in your group that was looking out for number 1. Ah, she's just a pretty girl. She wouldn't know anything. It'll make me look good if I say this, and this about our survival group and how much wonderful ammunition we have and how many beans and bullets and Band-Aids we have stockpiled. Get a couple of drinks in the guy. Maybe give him away free. Get him talking. Oldest game in the book. And they're cold as ice. You mark my words, and they're out there. And they will spring up out of the woodwork. And it won't matter. They'll sell an experience to compromise what you have. Because remember something, otherwise, this is how they live. Otherwise, this is how they live. You'd be amazed how many girls that look like $1 million in the bar are living in absolute squalor. Otherwise, trying to get out of it. Defiance covers this entire thing. It's what the entire show is really about. They have people coming from all over, and they take advantage of them over and over and over again for information. And they do whatever they got to do, and I'll just leave it up to your imagination. They do whatever they got to do with whoever they got to do it with to get whatever information they can get, whatever financial advantage they can get. And this will be the reality, because you won't be able to be an island unto yourself. You'll go from being perfectly prepared and having all sorts of training and all sorts of plans and all sorts of hope, and it's going to take one or maybe two weak guys in a unit like this, and you will be hopelessly compromised. You'll be made. And that's why we started here. When your head is in the sand, another part of your anatomy is showing. You see, if you won't talk about this kind of stuff, your head's in the sand. If you think all women are the problem, your head is in the sand. Your head is actually someplace else if you think that's the case. They can be a huge, and are usually, a huge asset if you let them be. If you don't point fingers. You see, they would know. They'd know. They would see. There'd be some kid come back from the scouting mission, and he's all smiles and happy, and his complete demeanor has changed, and he's gregarious, and they're going to know he got some, and they're going to wonder how, and so they're going to start to ask questions. Especially with, like I said, it is a survival situation. It's a survival situation. I don't want to say it that way, but well, I guess I should. They'll smell it out a mile away. Some kid comes back just floating 3 feet above the ground, who before was just depressed and dejected and, barely look you in the eye. They're going to know something, and they're going to wonder how. And that's when they're going to start counting ammunition. And then they'll put the pieces of the puzzle together. Whereas guys won't notice. And guys won't care. So, anyway, I'll leave it there. Especially if it's a guy like this. They'll wonder, wait a minute. No way. No way he just met somebody and they just fell in love or something like that. Something else is going on. So, I'll leave it there. God bless. Like, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.